here's your steps, right? So internet traffic to AWS, could be WAF, could just be straight to an ALB, to direct connect, to bare metal, back out to the internet. Fun thing about doing this is you can use your tooling that you have in AWS. You can use Terraform, you can use Cloud Formation to manage your bare metal infrastructure at the same time. We have customers that have taken and extended their ALBs into their bare metal nodes. So they're running Kubernetes on top of bare metal, and the Kubernetes containers actually are getting their load balancing from AWS. There's lots of ways of doing this tweak and looking at it for your infrastructure. Now, what we're seeing in terms of average cost reduction on bare metal over AWS is about 72%. So if you're spending $100,000 a month on AWS, you're going to spend $28,000 a month in bare metal. You're spending $1 million a month on AWS, you're going to spend, right, do the math, $280,000 a month in bare metal. The reason why this is important is, let's talk about it. You're saving a metric ton of money here. And that differential means a bunch of different things, right? We start talking about what is your cost per revenue to run your cloud. If you're looking at it from a standpoint of saying, hey, we're spending 15% of cost of revenue on AWS. So we're making this much and we're spending 15% of it on AWS. You don't have to be a finance nerd to understand that if you can cut that cost in half, it makes a big difference for your business. It makes a huge difference for you in terms of what you price your service or your product to your customers are, what your competitive advantage is, what your efficiency is, what your margin is. You want to start talking about EBITDA if you're trying to do a transaction. You want to start talking about gross margin efficiency. If you're looking for VC, if you're trying to take investors, you got to go through any metric you can imagine. Having a more efficient cost model and delivery of service is just better for the business. You will grow faster. You will be able to hire more people. You will be able to go out and be more competitive. You'll be able to dominate in your space. Any phrasing that you want to say. My job here is help you get to that goal, right? I'm going to get completely sidetracked on this rant, but it's a very simplistic tweak of just taking advantage of the fact that in some cases it's good to have asymmetric routing because then you can do some fun things with them. And again, I learned this originally 20 years ago with direct server return and load balancers inside of a data center. We took advantage of this in a big way with a customer. I mean, they had thousands of servers and they did this at a very large scale for anti-piracy. And of course, now the modern version of it is just taking advantage of bare metal and AWS and not doing wholesale migrations. I mean, this isn't about, I'm not an all or nothing guy, right? Like there's lots of middle ground here. Maybe the middle ground for you is keeping your AWS environment and keeping your Dynamo and keeping your Kinesis and keeping all these different things you want to keep inside of AWS because it is a big engineering lift and shift. But being able to move a segment of your compute and your data egress out of AWS into something that you have a much better cost model on, it's going to give you a pretty big advantage. Those are the kind of things that become really fun. If we can cut significant percentage points out of an operating budget for a business, that business can use that money to do other things with. And that those things usually are around growth. And I love to see companies grow. It is a miserable conversation to help companies contract. I love helping companies grow. I'm Max Clark. This is just a quick note on asymmetric routing and how you can take advantage of it. And hopefully this helps you.